In the late 90s, one man didn't just win Oscars, he owned them. He was the king of independent cinema, a titan who could make or break a career with a single phone call. But behind the red carpets and the standing ovations lay a dark secret that would eventually bring the entire industry to its knees. How did the most powerful man in Hollywood fall so far, so fast? And what was the true cost of his silence? This is the definitive story of Harvey Weinstein. If you're a fan of investigative film history, subscribe and hit the bell. You won't want to miss a single chapter of this journey. Our story begins not in the hills of Hollywood, but in the gritty streets of Buffalo, New York, with two brothers and a dream built on foreign film reels. In 1979, the name Miramax was born, a simple tribute to the brothers' parents, Miriam and Max. But the company was anything but simple. It was a gamble. Operating out of a small office in Buffalo, Harvey and Bob Weinstein started by distributing films no one else wanted, concert movies and obscure foreign titles. For a decade, they were marginal players, refining the aggressive marketing tactics that would soon become their trademark and their weapon. The breakthrough came in 1989 with Sex, Lies, and Videotape. It wasn't just a hit, it was a revolution that proved quality could be highly profitable. We're just getting started. If you're enjoying this deep dive, like the video and let us know your favorite Miramax classic in the comments. In 1993, the House of Mouse came calling. Disney acquired Miramax for $60 million, giving the Weinstein brothers the financial muscle to conquer Hollywood while keeping their independence. The 90s became Miramax's golden age. They didn't just compete for awards, they redefined the art of the Oscar campaign, turning art house films into global phenomena. Harvey Weinstein was a master strategist. From aggressive advertising to personal lobbying, he pioneered tactics that major studios found impossible to ignore. From Pulp Fiction to Shakespeare in Love, Miramax was unstoppable. By the late 90s, they had collected nearly 40 Oscars and over $1 billion in box office receipts. Their power seemed absolute. But as their influence grew, so did the whispers of the methods used to maintain it. Stay with us as we uncover the dark side of this empire. In Hollywood, secrets are currency, and for decades, everyone held the same secret. It wasn't a matter of if, but who and when. The stories were hauntingly similar. A business meeting in a hotel suite, a request for a massage, a bathrobe, a career held hostage in exchange for silence. Silence was an expense line on the budget. Settlements were paid, NDAs were signed, and promising careers vanished into the void, buried under mountains of legal paperwork. It wasn't just one man, it was a machine. Assistants, executives, and agents who prioritized power over protection, looking the other way to keep the hits coming. But in 2017, the wind began to change. In newsrooms in New York, journalists were picking up the phone, and the wall of silence was about to crack. October 2017. In the newsrooms of the New York Times and the New Yorker, a storm that had been decades in the making was about to break. This wasn't just another story, it was the end of an era. When the reports hit, they didn't just ripple through Hollywood, they shattered it. Within days, the man who was once untouchable was cast out of his own company and the Academy. The downfall was absolute. The empire he built, co-founded with his brother Bob, spiraled into chaos. Within months, the Weinstein Company declared bankruptcy, its name forever tarnished. The Weinstein effect had begun. A global reckoning was unfolding, proving that even the most powerful figures were no longer immune to the consequences of their actions. We are approaching the final chapters of this investigation. Subscribe now to see how the justice system finally caught up with the mogul and the lasting legacy of the Me Too movement. In 2020, the reckoning moved from the court of public opinion to a court of law. For the first time, Harvey Weinstein faced a jury of his peers in a trial that would define the Me Too era. The verdict was a landmark, guilty on 2 felony counts, a 23-year sentence that sent shockwaves through the industry, proving that no amount of power could buy total immunity. 2 years later in Los Angeles, another 16 years were added. Even as he fought the legal system, the wall of silence had been replaced by a chorus of voices that would no longer be ignored. But the path was never simple. Appeals, overturned convictions, and retrials followed, revealing the deep complexities of a justice system still grappling with the weight of these stories. Our investigation concludes in the next chapter. Subscribe now to witness the final reflection on the legacy of the man who once owned Hollywood and the world he left behind. The fall of Harvey Weinstein was more than a headline, it was a catalyst. A single hashtag #MeToo became a global roar, empowering millions to reclaim their voices and demand accountability. The industry changed. New guidelines, stricter conduct standards, and a renewed focus on workplace safety began to dismantle the casting couch culture that had persisted for a century. This was the Weinstein effect. From media to politics, the shockwaves proved that no titan is too big to fall, and that silence is no longer a viable currency for the powerful. But the journey isn't over. While the empire is gone, the lessons remain. This story matters because it reminds us that true power doesn't come from fear, but from the courage to tell the truth. Thank you for joining us on this investigative journey. If you found this story powerful, like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more untold stories to light.